Sit closer to the fire now, because the winds outside are changing, and I can see in your eyes that you have felt the shift even before you walked through my door. The storm of the 24th has passed, but do not make the mistake of thinking the work is done, because for you, born under the sign of the Ram, this is not the end of the story, but rather the moment where the ink hits the paper and the real chapter begins. The air around you on this morning of November 25th feels heavy and thick, not with burden, but with potential, like the atmosphere just before lightning strikes the dry earth, and you can smell the ozone and the rain all at once. You have been running so fast lately, chasing goals and fighting battles that perhaps only you can see. But these 2 days specifically, the 25th and 26th of November, are asking you to stop running and start receiving, which I know is the hardest thing for a warrior like you to do. We are in the wake of a miraculous conjunction where Mercury and Venus met in the deep waters of Scorpio, and for you this happened in your 8th house, the house of mysteries and transformation, and shared resources, and deep intimacy. The universe is not whispering anymore, it is speaking with a clear voice that resonates in your bones, and it is asking you to surrender the need to control every outcome. And right now, to anchor this energy into your reality, I want you to go to the comments and write this affirmation. I release the fear of the unknown and trust that what is meant for me will find me. The reason I ask you to do this is because the 8th house energy is intense, and it deals with the things we usually keep hidden in the dark corners of our psyche, but now the light has entered those corners. On this day, November 25th, Mercury is still retrograde, moving backward slowly, and Venus is moving forward, and they are dancing in that deep water, which for an Aries can feel like you are trying to run underwater, where every movement takes more effort and requires more intention. You might wake up feeling a strange pressure in your chest, or a sudden intense memory of a person you thought you had forgotten years ago. And this is not random. This is the Grand Water Trine doing its work on your soul. Jupiter is in your 4th house of home and family and emotional foundations, and Saturn is in your 12th house of the subconscious and karma and endings, and together with that Scorpio energy in your 8th house, they form a perfect triangle of emotional intelligence that is surrounding your fire with a protective ocean. Do not be afraid of the water, because even fire needs oxygen to burn, and this water brings the oxygen of truth. The 25th is a day of integration where the messages that were downloaded into your spirit the night before begin to make sense in your conscious mind. You may find that your phone rings, and it is a number you do not recognize, or perhaps a name flashes on the screen that makes your heart skip a beat, and your instinct, the instinct of the rabbit that the ancient stories tell us about, will be to run or to hide or to put up your defenses immediately. But remember, the symbol that is active right now is the rabbit transforming into a nature spirit, which means you are evolving from acting out of fear and survival into acting out of trust and spiritual knowing. The rabbit freezes when it senses danger, but the nature spirit flows with the wind, and you are being called to be that spirit. Why are you so afraid of being seen deeply? That is the question the cosmos is asking you over these 48 hours, because Scorpio in your 8th house demands total transparency and vulnerability, which is terrifying for someone who wears armor as a second skin. But the armor is heavy, and it is rusting, and on these days, you have the chance to take it off, piece by piece. November 25th is not a day for impulsive actions or starting brand new wars. but rather it is a day for strategy and deep psychological excavation. You might find yourself thinking about money, about debts, about resources you share with a partner. And while on the surface this looks like mundane financial worry, deep down it is actually about trust and whether you believe you are supported by the universe. Mercury retrograde here is reviewing the contracts of your soul, asking you where you have given away your power in exchange for a false sense of security. Did you agree to be small so someone else could feel big? Did you agree to carry the emotional burden of a family member just because you were strong enough to bear it? Saturn in your 12th house is preparing to turn direct very soon, and it is bringing a karmic cycle to a close, which means the heavy weight you have been carrying in your subconscious regarding your worthiness to receive help is about to be lifted, but only if you acknowledge it is there. The dreams you had last night and the dreams you will have tonight are not just dreams. They are messages from your ancestors and from your higher self, showing you exactly where the blockages are. If you see water in your dreams, if you see old houses or childhood rooms, know that Jupiter in your 4th house is expanding your understanding of where you came from, so you can change where you are going. As we move through the afternoon of the 25th, you might feel a shift in your energy levels, a sudden desire to withdraw from the noise of the world and just be silent. And I urge you to listen to this impulse, because silence is where the answers are waiting for you. Do not force conversation today if you do not feel like speaking, because your words are magnetic right now. And if you speak out of anger or frustration, you will manifest storms. But if you speak out of truth and love, you will manifest healing. The connection between Mercury and Venus is still active, and it is smoothing out the rough edges of your communication. So even if you have to deliver difficult news or set a hard boundary, you will be able to do it with a grace that surprises even you. People look at you and they see the ram, they see the horns and the charge, but they do not often see the depth of feeling you possess. And this transit is making your depth visible to those who matter. Someone is watching you not with eyes of judgment, but with eyes of admiration, seeing how you handle the pressure and how you navigate the complexities of your life. This could be a romantic partner who finally understands your need for independence is not a rejection of them, but a necessity for your soul. Or it could be a business partner seeing your true value for the first time. The energies of November 26th will begin to bleed into the evening of the 25th, bringing a sense of solidification, because as Saturn prepares to station, direct the fluid emotional realizations you are having start to harden into concrete wisdom. You are building a new structure for your life. But this structure is not made of brick and mortar. It is made of emotional honesty and spiritual maturity. The 26th is a day where the fog begins to lift, and you see the path ahead with a terrifying but exhilarating clarity. You realize that some people cannot come with you where you are going, and this realization does not come with anger. It comes with a quiet acceptance that is very unlike your usual fiery reactions. The 8th house is also the house of regeneration, and like the phoenix, which is the higher octave of Scorpio, you are burning away the parts of your ego that are no longer serving you so that you can rise from the ashes. You might feel physical sensations these 2 days, specifically in your lower back or your hips or your head, which are the areas where Aries holds tension when they are resisting the flow of life. If you feel a headache coming on or a stiffness in your muscles, do not just take a pill and push through it. Instead, ask your body what it is trying to tell you, because your body is the antenna receiving these cosmic downloads. The Grand Water Trine is flushing out toxins from your emotional body, and sometimes this manifests as physical symptoms or sudden waves of fatigue that hit you out of nowhere. Respect the vessel that carries your soul. On the 26th, the energy feels slightly more serious, more disciplined, as Saturn's influence grows stronger, reminding you that love is not just a feeling, it is a commitment and a responsibility. If you have been treating relationships casually, this energy will pull you up short and demand that you define what you want and what you are willing to give. Are you playing games, or are you ready for the real thing? This is the question echoing in the chambers of your heart. The Mercury-Venus conjunction in your 8th house might also bring news regarding an inheritance or a tax matter or a loan. And while this sounds boring compared to the spiritual fireworks I am describing, it is all connected because how you handle energy in the form of money is a reflection of how you handle energy in the form of love. Do not ignore the practical details on the 26th, because the universe is in the details right now. You might also find that your intuition is sharper than a razor blade, cutting through the lies that people tell themselves and tell you. You will know instantly if someone is being inauthentic, and you will have zero tolerance for it. But instead of exploding, you will simply step back and observe, because you are learning the power of the observer. The observer changes the experiment just by watching, and you are changing the dynamics of your relationships just by seeing the truth without needing to shout it. This is the maturity that Saturn brings to your fire. The rabbit spirit inside you that wants to flee when intimacy gets too real is being soothed by Venus, who is whispering that it is safe to stay, it is safe to open up, it is safe to let someone else take the lead for a moment. For an Aries, letting someone else lead is almost physically painful, but try it for these 48 hours and see what happens when you surrender the need to be the first and the fastest. You might discover that there is a profound strength in receptivity that you never accessed before. As the moon moves and interacts with these planets, you might feel a pull towards the occult, or the mystical, perhaps picking up a tarot deck or reading about astrology or simply staring at the stars and feeling a kinship with the vastness of space. This is your 8th house waking up. Do not suppress these urges thinking they are silly or a waste of time, because they are the keys to unlocking your next level of power. The person you were last week is not the person you are today, and certainly not the person you will be by the time Saturn goes direct on the 27th. You are in the chrysalis right now, and it is dark and it is tight and it feels uncomfortable. But liquidizing your old self is the only way to become the butterfly. Do not rush the process. Let the 25th and 26th be days of slow, deliberate movement, where you taste your food and feel the water on your skin and look people in the eye long enough to see their souls. There is a magic in the mundane right now, if you are willing to slow down enough to catch it. The connections you make or deepen during this time are karmic. They are destined. They are written in the stars long before you took your first breath. If an old lover returns during this Mercury retrograde window, do not just slam the door, but do not just open it wide either. Instead, stand in the doorway and ask what lesson they have brought back to you. Because they are not just a person, they are a mirror reflecting a part of yourself you thought you had lost. Maybe they are here to show you how much you have grown, or maybe they are here to show you what you still need to heal. But either way, the encounter is a gift, if you have the wisdom to see it as one. The energy of the 26th will also ask you to look at your fears around betrayal and abandonment, which are the shadow sides of the 8th house. Aries acts tough, but you have a tender heart that fears being stabbed in the back, and this fear often makes you strike first, so you do not get hurt. But the stars are asking you to lay down your sword and trust that your vulnerability is actually your greatest shield, because when you are completely open and honest, there is nothing for anyone to attack. Transparency is the ultimate protection. As you navigate these hours, pay attention to the numbers you see, specifically combinations of 2 and 4 and 8, as these are markers on your path confirming that you are aligned with the cosmic timing. The universe is speaking to you in a language of symbols and coincidences and synchronicity. You might hear a song that was playing during a significant moment in your childhood, or smell a perfume that reminds you of a grandmother who passed away. And these are not accidents. They are the thinning of the veil between the worlds, allowing support from the other side to reach you. You are never walking alone, even when you feel like the lonely leader at the front of the pack. Your ancestors are walking right beside you, whispering guidance in your ear, and all you have to do is quiet your mind enough to hear them. The Grand Water Trine is like a soothing balm for your fiery nervous system, calming the constant need for action and replacing it with a deep sense of knowing. You do not have to do anything to be worthy. You just have to be. This is a radical concept for an Aries who defines themselves by their achievements and their conquests. But for these 2 days, try to define yourself by your capacity to feel, and your capacity to love, and your capacity to endure the transformation of the self. The 25th is the inhale, and the 26th is the pause before the exhale. In that pause lies all the power of the universe. You are being rewired to handle higher voltages of energy, specifically the energy of abundance and intimacy. If you have been blocking money or love because unconsciously you feel it is not safe to have them, this transit is removing that block. It is like a spiritual surgery performed by the planets. And while you are on the operating table of the cosmos, you must stay still and trust the surgeon. Do not try to get up and fix yourself. Let the energy work on you. You might feel a sudden urge to clean your house or throw away old objects, and this is the external manifestation of the internal cleansing happening in your 8th house. Let it go. If it does not resonate with who you are becoming, it has no place in your space. This applies to objects and habits and thoughts and even people. The pruning is necessary for the new growth to occur. As the hours tick by towards the end of the 26th, you will feel a growing sense of resolve, a steel in your spine that tells you that you can handle whatever truth comes to light. Whether it is a secret revealed or a realization about your own behavior, you will face it with the courage of the ram, but also with the wisdom of the sage. You are learning that true power is not power over others, but power over your own reactions and your own mind. This is the alchemy of the soul, turning the lead of your trauma into the gold of your wisdom. The Mercury-Venus conjunction is the philosopher's stone, and you are the alchemist. Do not be distracted by the noise of the world or the drama of others, because your work right now is internal and it is sacred. Protect your energy field like it is a precious garden, because right now the seeds of your future are germinating in the soil of your subconscious, and they need peace to grow. Avoid people who drain you or who thrive on conflict, because their vibration is too low for where you are going. You are elevating, and elevation requires separation from the things that weigh you down. The air feels electric with possibilities that you cannot yet see, but you can feel them humming just beneath the surface of reality. Trust that hum. It is the sound of your destiny calling you forward, not to a battlefield, but to a throne. You are learning to rule your own inner kingdom. The kingdom you are building inside yourself is not made of stone or wood, but of the indestructible material of self-awareness. And as we move deeper into the 26th of November, the energy shifts from the chaotic storms of the past few days into a strange and beautiful stillness that might unsettle you at first, because you are a creature of movement and fire. You are used to the noise of battle and the rush of adrenaline, but the universe is currently wrapping you in a blanket of deep water and asking you to simply float. This is the influence of the Grand Water Trine, which is fully activated now, connecting the expansion of Jupiter in your fourth house of home and roots with the stern discipline of Saturn in your 12th house of spirituality, and the magnetic intensity of the Mercury-Venus conjunction in your 8th house. Picture a triangle of light protecting you, and understand that for an Aries, this specific geometry is offering you a chance to heal the relationship with your own vulnerability. You have always believed that to be strong means to be impenetrable, but the stars on this Tuesday are teaching you that true strength is permeable, that it breathes and feels and lets love in without fear of drowning. The message that the cosmos has been trying to deliver to you since the 24th is finally landing in your heart, and it might not come as words on a screen or a voice on the phone, but as a sudden, profound knowing that settles in your gut. You might look at your reflection in the mirror on the morning of the 26th and realize that you are no longer the same person who started this year. The rabbit that represents your survival instincts, the part of you that wants to run away when emotions get too heavy or too real, is undergoing its final transformation into the spirit of nature. This means that instead of reacting to your triggers with immediate defensiveness or anger, you are learning to pause and observe the trigger with curiosity. Why did that hurt me, you will ask, instead of shouting back. And in that pause lies your freedom. The 8th house is the house of shared resources and intimacy, and you may find that the topic of trust becomes the central theme of these hours. Can you trust someone else to hold you when you are tired? Can you trust the universe to provide for you, even when you are not hustling every single second of the day? The energy of the 26th is asking you to surrender the heavy burden of being the one who always has to save the day. You are allowed to be the one who is saved sometimes. You are allowed to rest your sword and take off your helmet. As Mercury continues its retrograde dance, it might bring up old fears about betrayal or loss specifically related to money or deep emotional bonds, but do not push these thoughts away, because they are not here to haunt you. They are here to be released. Imagine that you are standing by a river, and these fears are just leaves floating on the surface, and your only job is to watch them drift by until they disappear downstream. You do not have to jump in the water and catch them. Saturn is so close to turning direct now that you can almost feel the click of the cosmic gears locking into place, preparing to build a new reality for you. The confusion of the past few months is about to dissipate like mist in the morning sun. You might feel a vibration in your hands, or a heat in your solar plexus, which is your center of will and power, because your energy body is being upgraded to handle a higher frequency of love. This is not the puppy love of teenagers. This is the mature, soulful, ancient love that Scorpio demands, and that your soul secretly craves, even if your ego pretends it only wants freedom. The paradox for you, my fiery friend, is that you can only find true freedom through deep commitment and deep intimacy, because running from connection is just another form of being trapped by fear. The 26th offers you the key to unlock this cage. If you encounter resistance today from a partner or a family member, do not lower your head and charge like the ram usually does. Instead, use the water energy available to you to flow around the obstacle. Water is stronger than rock over time because it yields and persists, and today you must be like water. Soften your eyes when you look at the people you love. Soften your voice when you speak your truth. You do not need to shout to be heard when you are speaking from the integrity of your soul. The specific degree of this conjunction holds the vibration of miracles, and for you the miracle is the death of the false self and the birth of the authentic self. You might receive a sign in the form of a number, specifically seeing the digits 2 and 6, or repetitions of 4, which relates to your fourth house of security. When you see these numbers, take it as a cosmic wink that you are exactly where you need to be. There is no mistake in your journey. Even the detours were necessary to gather the wisdom you hold now. As the evening of the 26th approaches, the energy becomes even more potent for manifestation. What you think about and feel in the hours before you sleep will set the template for the coming months. So be very careful not to dwell on what you lack, but rather on what you are grateful for. Gratitude is the magnet that pulls miracles from the quantum field into your physical reality. You might feel a strong connection to those who have passed on, ancestors or friends who are no longer in the physical plane, because the 8th house is the gateway between life and death. Light a candle for them if you feel moved to do so, and ask for their guidance, because they are closer than your breath right now. They are cheering for you as you navigate this transformation. The heavy lifting is almost done. Saturn is about to station direct, and the lessons you have learned about boundaries and sacrifice and spiritual maturity are about to become the foundation of your new life. You are not building a castle on sand anymore. You are building it on the bedrock of your own truth. The rabbit has become the spirit, the fear has become faith, and the warrior has become the wise leader. Walk into the night of the 26th with your head high, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you finally know who you are. You are the fire that warms the hearth and the courage that lights the dark. The stars have written a new destiny for you, but you are the one who must pick up the pen and sign the contract. Do it with love. Do it with trust. You are ready.